When they meet the city boss, he is satisfied with the women they brought in as goods. He promises to spare the life of whoever can produce a male child for him. The girls are scared and plead for their lives, but he reminds them that they are nothing but baby makers with no right to beg for mercy. He says this as he grabs one of the girls by the neck and starts molesting her publicly. As he is still breeding her, someone informs him of our MC and his group's plan to attack the hospital. This infuriates the city lord, and he orders all his men to attack. He will do anything as long as our protagonist ends up dead. The informant then informs him that their people have no strength to fight because they have been starving for so long. Another way forward is to forcefully turn all of them into devourers, but that process takes a whole lot of time. This conversation is going on while the pig of a city lord is still ravishing the body of a poor maiden. At this time, our favorite masochistic psycho, G, who's been sitting still with the rest of the slave girls all this while, speaks up and offers an idea. The city lord then turns to face her and gives her a listening ear while still giving the poor girl very painful backshots. The goons who brought the girls to the city lord are now buried alive up to their necks, in a way that only their heads are visible on the surface. They are so confused and turn to their boss, pleading for help and answers. The city lord simply tells them that a certain woman wants to help him build a devourer army quickly, but she needs their heads as ingredients for her potion. The goons try to beg their way out, claiming that the woman is lying to him and only trying to get revenge on them for selling her as a slave. The city boss admits that that can indeed be the truth, but then again, he would never really know until he tests it. Now would he? A swift swing from his nail bat has both of their heads flying away from their bodies at the same time with just one swing, flying from their bodies and landing in a huge concoction pool of blood, where other humans are also being tossed in whole and alive. Jai uses a second-generation enhancement serum to speed up the devourer evolution. She pours some into the blood pool, even though it is a bit unstable. More humans are then dropped into this pool against their will, obviously. They are forcefully submerged and even drowned until there is nothing left. Jai tells those terrifyingly awaiting their turn that they should feel honored, as only the chosen ones are allowed into the blood pool, and only the strongest warriors can serve the city lord. She is definitely a total full-blown psycho. She swears to exact her revenge on our boy Su Chen for destroying the evolution base, which led to her capture, enslavement, and endless suffering. Just then, the first batch of the fully cooked devourers starts emerging from the blood pool. Meanwhile, the scouts who have been watching all this from behind the city walls can't believe their eyes. They just found out that the city lord is planning to turn everyone in the city into devourers. All 2,000 residents would become pawns for him. They have to get this information they've just gathered back to their base, otherwise they will all be cooked. Just then, a group of devourers appears behind them, having spotted them earlier while spying. Once they realize they've been discovered, the situation immediately becomes dire. Tenyue decides to make a move and hold them off, and commands his partner to escape while he has the chance. But the devourers think it's better they both stay and become their dinner. The more, the merrier. Back at the base, young Xiaomei rushes to greet our MC, and he asks after her and if she's being bullied. She tells him that no one would ever dare come near his woman, which is her, a joke obviously. Just then, General Gao joins them and informs our MC of their plans regarding the upcoming mission. He then explains that the job might be too much for Sun and his men to handle and asks for his help. Our boy casually agrees to the request with no complaints whatsoever, but our general isn't done yet. He has one more favor to ask of our MC Su Chen. Gao informs our MC that the hospital, being too close to the base, will become a pain in the backside sooner or later if not taken care of. Also, they really need the medical resources that are stacked up in there just waiting to be retrieved, so he pleads with our boy to let them keep some for the base. Our generous protagonist assures Gao that he'll only take what he needs and nothing else. Not like he needs much to begin with anyway. Gao then introduces him to the other ability users that are in the base, including Captain Bai's brother, and they are all under his command during this operation they're about to undergo. That's all fair and good, but the first order from their new leader is to stay behind at the base and play lookout while he goes and deals with the actual threat. They're to keep a special eye on his city for any suspicious movements that may occur. This shocks the ability users team to the core. Our boy obviously has his reasons for giving such an order. He suspects that his city might experience uncontrollable changes because of his presence. And just as usual, he is very much correct. Meanwhile, back at his city, our two scouts, Miaopu Yuan and Tianye, are still surrounded by very hungry devourers. They are trying to hold their own, but the monsters aren't giving them any fighting chance to catch their breath. Tianye points out that they have to end this quickly and asks his partner if he remembers all the crises and trials they went through during their field missions. Of course he does. He is the most experienced in the field after all. The devourers are getting fed up with these games and are ready to get serious. But just then, Tianye pulls out yet another trick, throwing some lime powder in their eyes. This gives them a small chance to escape and make a run for it. Just when they both think they finally have the jump on the devourers, a spear from behind pierces a not-so-lucky Miao Pu Yan right through the chest. It's a deadly blow. Tanya screams, but it's too late. His partner has fallen to the city lord, who appeared from nowhere and struck from behind. He plays with the idea of having the human he just caught as a little snack, but he's way too skinny for him to get satisfied in the slightest, so he offers him to his men instead as a treat. Miao Pu Yuan is thrown into the hands of the hungry devouring beasts, and his partner, Tian Ye, tries to save him, but is struck at the back by another beast who had sneaked up on him. Right before Miao Pu Yan is devoured, he yells at his partner and best friend to escape while he still has the chance. And then he is ripped apart limb from limb and eaten by the monsters right before his partner's devastated eyes. Tian swears to avenge his friend, and he uses the distraction opportunity his friend's sacrifice created to make an escape, attempting to jump into a river beside them. They realize his plan and try to stop him by throwing spears at him, but he succeeds and heads straight down for the river. Although injured, both physically and emotionally, he makes a successful escape. The devourers are angry at this. They really want to eat meat, human meat, and don't really care how they get it. The city lord then tells them to take over the Dawnlight base if they really want meat. There are many people down there who would serve as excellent dishes. With this command, the devourers make their way to the base. They are so hungry and would do anything for some fresh human meat. Just then, the city lord screams the name of his enemy, RMC, as he takes his now multiplied army of devourers and brings the fight to the base. Meanwhile, at the city hospital that our boy is planning on attacking, a woman is in serious pain and gives birth to a devourer baby with no medical equipment or assistance whatsoever. The father of this cute angel of a baby is none other than Feng Pengzi, the devourer's tribe hospital leader. Originally, he was actually a mental psycho patient admitted to the hospital for obvious reasons. He always fantasized about getting women around him pregnant, so of course he was the first person to mutate into a devourer. Now that he's an actual monster, he has the power and freedom to fulfill his deepest and most messed up desires. The poor lady, trembling in pain, is desperately trying to figure out a way to escape, but the psycho freak is already gearing up for round 2 with her. He promises to pump her full with another baby in no time flat. Mere minutes after giving birth, she is forced into another session of backshots with the monster. Truly horrifying. Still at the city hospital, the attack begins, and the devourers are ambushed by soldiers from the Dawnlight base. The first set of attacks is led by Sun and his men, using guns to eliminate the small fries at the entrance. After that, he steps down and demands that the ability users, including our MC, clear the rest of the way. Lu Xiaofeng questions this demand, as they are only a handful of ability users at the site. Sun gives his reasons for his absurd demands. He might have way more men behind him, but they're still just ordinary people with a bit of firepower in their guns. It's only fair that the superpowered humans lead the battle. Our MC perceives this as a threat and confronts Sun, but the bull-headed captain won't budge and stands by his demand. Our boy finally agrees to it but warns them that anyone who dares stab him in the back never, ever meets a good fate. And he has proof of it too. He orders his team to move, and he himself, together with his woman Duanya and Lu Xiaofeng, goes on ahead to take charge of clearing the path. Of course, Sun has ulterior motives for doing all of this. His plan is to let the ability users deal with the devourers first, then strike them down and eliminate them when they are worn out. His logic is that even an ability user won't stand a chance against 100 guns after that kind of fight. One of his men suggests that they spare the beauty goddess Duanya. And yeah, he agrees that it would be a waste to get rid of a sexy woman like her. So he orders them to leave her out of it when they go on the killing spree. Just then, they realize something isn't right. Our ruthless protagonist and his team have completely disappeared without leaving a single trace. He quickly orders his men to search for them immediately and not to let them escape. They have no idea that the people they are desperately trying to find are right there in front of them. Duanya explains to a doubting Xiaofeng that she can control ordinary people's visual nerves, and that is exactly what she is currently doing to put Captain Sun and his men in their current state of confusion. She admits though that Captain Sun is also an ability user, so he is somewhat immune to her powers and might sense something is off. Our MC steps up to take care of that particular problematic possibility, and uses his upgraded space ability, setting up different portals at specific angles all surrounding Captain Sun and his men, which they do not notice. After he sets them up, he fires ice shards at them, creating simultaneous attacks from different angles. The men are thrown off guard, and their captain orders them to take cover, so they all rush forward in a panicked and confused state. They leave behind our MC and his crew, who are still hiding behind Duanya's powerful ability. Our MC figures that charging in head-on is more suited for people like them anyway, so why not give them a little push? While they are running forward, Captain Sun asks if anyone detected where the attack came from, but no one can answer. Meanwhile, our favorite psychopathic monster, Feng Pangzi, has just finished playing with his baby-making tool. Or rather, it would be more accurate to say that the poor maiden has finished with life entirely. As she lays lifelessly on the ground, having succumbed to death, it is only then that he notices that his other playthings are being tampered with. While he was busy, his subordinates had helped themselves to his other women. He demands an explanation from them, and they explain that they wanted babies too. They want to be just like their boss. And this terrifies the hell out of the girls, having seen the fate of the last girl the boss handled. This whole scene irritates Feng Pangzi. He is greatly annoyed that his subordinates have the audacity to touch his property. Out of anger, he attacks them, and that sends the Devourer's subordinates flying through the walls. Unfortunately, that is exactly where Captain Sun and his men had run to, so the impact not only blows away some of his men, but also reveals their location to the enemy, and it is the boss no less. So much for the element of surprise. Captain Sun and his men are surprised and scared to see the biggest devourer they have ever seen in their lives standing in front of them. But they are petrified to realize that they are not just up against 1 or 2 dozen mutated monsters, but hundreds of them, just waiting to have lunch. They are completely surrounded by the enemy. Captain Sun still stands his ground though, and orders them to release fire. They begin shooting, but the guns are just lighting up and causing no damage whatsoever. They soon realize that they are shooting blanks, with just gunpowder and no actual bullets. Someone obviously tampered with their weapons, and that is just too bad for them, because they are very much cooked right now. The Devourer Tribe Lord orders his devourers to slice them up and roast them for a good lunch, and that they gladly obey. They start cutting down the men, and it is almost way too easy for them. They surround the captain, but he still stands his ground. He grabs his battle axe and fights back. He then orders his men to get up and keep fighting until the very end. This motivates them a bit, and they begin to take formation and prepare to back him up. He is actually holding his own in this battle, despite the circumstances. He swears to come for our MC after he takes care of his current situation. Captain Sun orders his men to follow his lead and fight their way out. Their plan is to keep killing as many as they can until they find a way out or die trying. Meanwhile, the Devourer's plan is to kill all the humans and leave no one alive. It is a ferocious battle between monster and human. One particular guy decides to take the coward's way out and look for a place to hide amidst all the chaos and bloodshed. Just then, he notices something weird in the corner of his eye. It is a newborn devourer next to its lifeless mother. That same baby the devourer boss and his now dead baby-making tool had created together. As he tries to approach it, the baby sinks into a shadowy portal and completely disappears into thin air. The confused guy can't find it anywhere. Then the next second, it appears directly under him from another shadowy portal it seems to be able to create, and attacks from below. It tears his flesh and devours the poor coward bit by bit until it completely kills him. The devourer then grows, and he learns that eating human meat makes him grow stronger, and it also makes a pretty delicious meal. That is his first discovery in this world and a very saddening fact, to be honest. Back to the battle. The men are amazed at how strong their captain really is. He fights so fiercely and stands his ground even against all odds. He takes out 10 devourers by himself. Unfortunately, those are just small fries compared to the rest of the devourers, plus the boss still waiting for him. Feng Pagzi lets him know this, so he uses the opportunity to try to take out the boss in one swift swing by launching his axe. The boss catches his axe before it is able to make contact though, and that only leaves him dumbfounded. Amidst his distraction, the evil devourer baby sneaks up behind him. He notices it but not soon enough. The child then uses his arms, which mutated into blades, to slice off the captain's arms. The man screams in excruciating pain, and the kid pushes him to the ground to die slowly. As the kid is about to land the finishing blow, a kick from the side sends him flying across the room. The kid is really shocked and infuriated at whoever dared to kick him. Turns out that our ruthless MC and his team, consisting of his woman Duan Ya and his guy Xiao Feng, arrive just in time to save the day. Our MC informs the overgrown devourer brat that the captain isn't his to kill. Someone in Su Chen's team catches the eye of the boss lord who was previously actually starting to get bored. It's our beauty queen Duan Ya, and he recognizes her as his next baby maker immediately. He then promises to let our boy choose his method of death, since he brought such a beauty goddess to him. In the split of a second, our boy is all up in the devourer boss lord's face, and he complains that this overgrown pig talks too much. He strikes a serious punch and does a hell of great damage to the boss. He has made a choice all right. He chooses to send the pig in front of him, right back to the deepest parts of hell from which he came. Our boy is bursting with aura. Playtime for the hospital devourer tribe's boss Feng Pagzi is over. It is about time he takes things around here seriously. Feng Pagzi, on the other hand, recognizes him as an ability user. He then points out that his meat must taste even tastier as he absorbs the damage from our boy's blow and regenerates. While this is happening, The young devourer kid wonders why his father, the boss, has taken a liking to a woman that looks very weak to him, but since his father likes her, he agrees to allow her to stay and be his mother. That sicko parasite, seriously, like father like son, has never been more true in this scenario. He announces his decision to Duan Ya, and she is even more than disgusted by the thing she is looking at. He tells her not to worry, as he isn't really planning on eating her anytime soon, as he is still growing anyway. He did just eat some human meat though, so he tells his new mom that he needs some milk ASAP. Our girl Duan Ya thinks she must be tripping because there is absolutely no reasonable way in hell she just heard a filthy devourer brat, grown enough to be a middle schooler, call her mom and request breast milk so casually. Out of sheer annoyance and pure irritation, she lands a skull-crushing axe kick directly on the brat's head and sends his face smashing into the ground. He goes full psychotic mode like the monster he is, thinking that must be what having a mother feels like. But before he could get up, another hit from a silently pissed-off Duan Ya sends him flying up again. Our girl uses her heels to launch another kick that pushes him to the left. And finally, she spins around and gives him a hot and critical back kick to the gut. And that does it finally. This is what you get when you mess with our MC's woman. Good riddance. It's about time someone gave that brat a good beating. Duan Ya has the brat pinned to the ground under her heel, but the psycho is really enjoying the pain. I guess it shouldn't be too surprising if the evil psycho devourer kid is also a masochist as well. He then uses the ability he used to kill that first guy who tried to run away from the fight, creating a shadowy portal directly underneath him and using it to slip away from our girl's heels. Duan Ya is shocked to find out that he is an ability user just like her. Turns out, he can move through darkness and attack from anywhere, which greatly increases his mobility. He then resurfaces from behind and tries to land a sneak attack from behind, but is stopped by our MC's pet, the kitty cat, who had secretly followed them on this mission without anyone's knowledge. Duan Ya is surprised that Golden followed her and is worried about its safety, so she tells it to hide behind her while she continues her playdate. She believes that with her mental perception, she can lock onto the brat's movements and shoot him down with her gun. The brat resurfaces again, this time from above, and his target is set on the cat as revenge for blocking his attack earlier. Golden sees him on time though and casually sends a claw attack, but Duan couldn't react in time and misses the whole confrontation. The brat narrowly evades the cat's attack by a hair, by jumping into the dark just in time. He realizes that it was almost game over for him a second ago and decides to make a tactical retreat. Back to Captain Sun and his men. Sun is still in serious pain, screaming over the loss of his arms, while his men try to defend him from the other devourers. Xiaofeng orders them to stay close to him, as the battle is getting too dangerous. The devourers laugh at him. At a first glance, Xiaofeng looks kinda weak and pathetic, so seeing him order the rest to stay close to him as if he could protect them is kinda hilarious to the devourers. Captain Sun reckons that since Xiaofeng is honest and kind, he would serve as an efficient meat shield and he could use him to escape. He calls our guy's attention and orders him to protect him and get him out of the battle safely, since he is technically the leader of this operation. Xiaofeng happily agrees to his request. But before he does anything, he is going to need a little assistance from our fine captain here. Sun is shocked when our guy casually stretches out his hand and holds him by the neck. Then he uses his ability, Plunderer, to drain and absorb all of Sun's remaining strength. He is armless now anyway, and therefore practically useless, so he should give up the last of his strength so that our guy can use it to get revenge on the devourers for him. With his weak last breath, Sun reminds Xiaofeng that they are supposed to be teammates, but our guy tells him that the terms in their relationship changed once he decided to point his gun at him and the rest of his teammates. It went from brothers to enemies. And in this apocalypse, you show no mercy to your enemies. Since his men are also in on the plot against them, they are enemies as well, so he goes ahead to drain all their strength too. He plunders every single drop until there is nothing left. Thanks to our MC's genius thinking and warnings, the Dawn base discovers that a large devourer army is heading straight for them. At the just finished wall, Captain Bai orders the soldiers to go prepare as they had previously planned. She meets Yun Yun and asks why she is still there. Yun Yun had built the wall on request of her man, Su Chen. She really doesn't want to see it destroyed by some overgrown pigs. Bei Chen then brings up another topic that she has been meaning to ask Yun Yun. She is now blushing and rubbing her knees, obviously very flustered and embarrassed. She asks Yun Yun why she isn't disturbed that she and Duan Ya are both sharing a man. Yun Yun replies quite calmly. She admits that it all felt odd at first. But it's the literal end of the world, so why should she care? Worldly rules don't really apply anymore when there are deadly natural disasters and mutated monsters eating humans daily. To herself, she knows that she really can never handle Su Chen by herself anyway. Our boy is a monster of his own type as well. She then goes on to ask Captain Bai if she has feelings for her man as well. Bai immediately denies it. Still very much flustered though. Yun Yun goes on to tell her that it is okay to be attracted to someone as strong and handsome as our MC, and she shouldn't be ashamed to admit so. Bei then starts to reconsider her earlier response. Just then, a soldier sees the army is now visible and calls out to Captain Bai's attention. The two women are shocked when they see the number of devourers they are up against. Captain Bai immediately orders that this be reported to the general immediately, and all citizens be evacuated. Yun Yun, on the other hand, reaches for her backpack and grabs a quick snack, a chocolate bar and some other foods. She then asks Captain Bai if she is planning to abandon the base. Of course she isn't. But she still has to evacuate the innocent civilians as a precaution, just in case the worst happens. Yun Yun really isn't going to allow a wall she just built for her man to get destroyed before he even gets to see it. If he comes back and the base isn't there anymore, he definitely would not be happy. And heaven knows that she more than anyone knows how he gets when he is furious, in bed of course. She definitely will not be able to handle it one bit. After she finishes her snack, which consists of a lot more than just the chocolate bar by the way, she reaches for her bag and pulls out some green liquid in the form of an injection. It is an enhancement potion, and without hesitation, she jams it into her arm. With that, she steps over the wall and tells her friend to organize people to fight off the monsters. Whatever happens, they absolutely cannot let them get to the base. With that said, she jumps over without batting an eyelid. Captain Bai is genuinely shocked at how this woman can completely disregard her own safety just for a man. She grows big, her clothes expand, and she is ready to battle. She spots a tree and picks it up, deciding to use that as her weapon. She is determined not to let the monsters, who are now fast approaching her, get through. What a woman. Yun Yun realizes that the enhancement potion has quite a significant effect on her body. She is slowly but constantly growing bigger even after reaching her max limit. I just hope her clothes don't rip off during this process. Anyway, she needs to take full advantage of the change and stop as many of the devourers as she can. The city lord honestly doubts that they could be stopped by just one woman, even though she is quite gigantic. He orders his army to attack, and they rush headfirst into a confrontation with our Yun Yun, who is very much ready for them. They try to slip past between her legs, but not only is our girl really big, she is also really fast as well. She swiftly uses her tree weapon to sweep them all out, creating a powerful force in the process. Some devourers who think they are smart try taking another approach and jumping directly on her arm, in a bid to at least injure and distract her. This doesn't really work in their favor though, as our girl quickly smacks them flat like mosquitoes on her skin and continues clearing out the pests. Begs the question of what they actually thought would happen at this point. Captain Bai, watching what is going on from a distance, admits that all of our boys' women are truly very strong. Even with that, there are still way too many enemies for just one woman to handle alone. She deduces that her friend probably won't last long if she continues like this. But what is bothering her more is that the base's original defense system has been disrupted. She can't just sit back and do nothing while all of this is happening, so she runs along to go make something happen. Back to Yun Yun, she is successfully preventing the army from advancing and clearing them out as well. The devourers swallow their words and admit to themselves that the gigantic woman is actually a force to be reckoned with. They are now terrified and begin to lose their morale. Then a solution shows up in the form of our old pal, the masochistic psycho, Jai. She swoops in to save the day with an idea to beat the giant woman. The devourers forget that she is on their side though, and proceed to attack her like the stupid animals they are. She already planned for that possible outcome, and quickly goes ahead with her plan whether the devourers are consciously aware of it or not. She swiftly plants seeds on the 3 devourers that are stupid enough to attack her. The seeds immediately start to grow plants and bloom flowers on their heads. The devourers are so confused right now, but she definitely isn't. She knows exactly what she's doing. You see, in the past, she discovered that mutated plants mixed with her blood could temporarily boost strength a whole lot, but the cost of that power was the life of the host. And boy, did it boost the strength of the already strong devourers, making them almost as huge as our girl Yun Yun. Our girl soon realizes that she now has 3 enemies almost as big as her, and they are all coming for her head. Their strength and size multiply many times. The Lord is very pleased with this new development, and commands the rest of his devourer army to attack the base, and do as they please while the giant woman is busy with her new play pals. The order is to charge forward, kill the men but leave the woman for future baby-making needs. They happily comply, but as soon as they try to advance, they are met with very deadly and explosive firepower. Tanks, multiple tanks loaded with very heavy ammunition, are now heading straight for them, with their orders to fire at will at the devourers. They definitely weren't expecting this, and can't figure out how the humans got their hands on such explosive firepower. Yun Yun is relieved to see that backup is finally here as she looks down at the tanks that are coming to her defense and that of the base. But as she lowers her guard to catch her breath for just a bit, one of the giant flower devourer monsters springs forward and launches an attack on her. using roots to bind her hands. This distracts her from the incoming attack from another one of them, but luckily she's able to block it in time using her other hand and tree weapon. The impact pushes her back though, and she slams into the wall. Her two hands are currently engaged, and this prevents her from moving, so she can't block or dodge the third attack coming from the third giant flower devourer monster. Just when she thinks she is cooked, an attack from a drone saves her by a hair. These attacks continue relentlessly, and that gives our girl enough time to breathe and think. Even she wasn't really expecting drones. Captain Bai stands at a safe place in the battlefield while controlling the drones. She is grateful now more than ever to our boy for providing them with such powerful weapons. Even though there aren't many, they are still currently the only reason this base is still standing till now. Now let's head back to our MC, who is still battling with the hospital devourer, Lord Feng Pangzi. His blows are being absorbed by the overgrown pig, and although he's receiving damage from them, they are still regenerating. He has to admit that our boy is quite strong for a human at least, but unfortunately, he doesn't believe that he is strong enough to actually harm him. Not by a long shot. It's now his turn to land a hit on our boy. While all this is going on, parasitic Xiao, who has been inside our boy Su Chen this whole time, is wondering what is going on in the real world. Xiao can't help but keep wondering what is going on outside our MC's mind. She blames him for trapping her in that place, thereby cutting her ability to sense the outside world. She is really curious and wants to know what is going on around her at this time, so she decides it is finally time to break free of the ice prison our boy put her in. She gathers all her strength and hair strands and forms it into a drill, and uses it to try drilling a hole out of the ice chamber. She better not do anything stupid that will distract our boy, who is currently still engaging in deadly combat with what seems to be his toughest opponent yet. He dodges the beast's incoming attack but realizes that this battle is getting tough, and his pig friend is getting harder to deal with, so he has to end this quickly. Xiao finally gets free of her ice prison that is inside our boy's mental dimension. And sure enough, it distracts him from his current battle. This gives Feng Pangzi the opening he needs to finally attack. Our boy, on the other hand, is pulled out once again from the real world, ripping off his clothes in the process, back into his mental world. She has really done it this time. Out of all the time she could have suddenly dragged him out of the real world, it's now that he is in a very serious battle to the death. Once he lands in space, she traps him with her hair strands before he has the chance to freeze her again. She has been waiting for this moment, and without thinking, she wraps her body and hair around him in an attempt to trap him. Soon they're both trapped in her hair cocoon, once again right there in his mental space. Our boy Su Chen would like to know what this woman is trying to do, and she tells him that she's doing everything in her ability to stop him from using his ice powers on her this time. She is going to punish him for trapping her in that ice prison for all this time. It is only then that she realizes that something is really wrong. She is feeling something hard, something throbbing and pressing against her. She then scolds him and accuses him of being a pervert, demanding to know why he isn't wearing any clothes. But he yells right back, complaining that it is her fault for dragging him over here so suddenly without any warning whatsoever. His clothes must have either gotten ripped off in the sudden transportation or didn't form at all because of how sudden it was. She makes it known to him that that wasn't her intention in any way. It is too late for excuses now, because she is currently trapped with a naked man in a very tight cocoon that is shaking due to the activities going on outside the mental space, in the real world. She points out that she has never experienced what she is experiencing now, and this surprises our boy, considering what he saw in her memories with that zombie scientist. And she explains that that was just fake experiences that never really happened. They are both in a very inappropriate situation, and doing something I'm probably not allowed to say. So let's go back to the real world for a sec, and give them some much-needed privacy. Back in the real world, Feng Pangzi is having the time of his life toying with an unconscious Su Chen. Punching him to the ground shakes the entire mental space, which in turn shakes the cocoon violently, and that causes gravity to create some more inappropriate actions in the cocoon. She begs our MC to do something because she doesn't know how much of this she can actually handle. The more the actual body receives damage, the more violently the cocoon shakes, and it is really driving Xiao crazy. Throwing the cocoon ball up and down so roughly, you could only imagine the dirty things that are going on there. Very dirty things. Okay, seriously now. Let's leave them to their immoral actions and focus on the outside world. Feng Pangzi has gotten bored of playing with a lifeless body and proceeds to make our boy his next snack. Gunshots from behind block him from starting his meal, and he's surprised to find out that it's from Duanya. The woman he had chosen to be his becomes dares attack him, but she does not really care about all the BS he is spitting out. He's holding something that belongs to her, and she commands him to let go of her man. It's then that Feng Pangzi realizes that the so-called woman he had chosen is already tainted and has been touched by another man. He then reminisces that back then, before the apocalypse, before all this madness, before he had been admitted as a mental patient at the hospital, There was once this woman in his life, who was also the woman he had fallen for. The woman had promised him that after 100 gifts she would agree to marry him, so he stupidly believed her and bought her 99 gifts. When he brought the 100th, he was devastated to find out that the woman was no longer interested in him. She was getting married to another man already, and she didn't want anything to do with him again. Even after accepting his gifts, she would never date someone as ugly and pathetic as him. Even after all that, he still stood his ground and demanded that she leave that mystery man and marry him as she had promised instead. She laughs at the idea that he thinks that in any lifetime she would leave a second-generation rich man and marry a loser like him instead. Besides, she was already pregnant by the man. This was the fact that probably broke the last sane thread in his head and turned him into the psycho he is today.